Okay, ladies, I am at the beach today, and I just want to give you an example of some of the things that you can do while you're, just watching your kids in the beach or while they're snacking or really any time in order to begin to correct some of the issues that we might have as moms, okay? So anything pelvic floor related, if your core isn't activating properly, mommy, tummy, etc. Okay, so number one, we know after having had completed the initial foundational training that your breath is the most important thing. So I'm going to get you to start to incorporate a couple of different movements along with that in order to begin to fix certain things. So number one is a pelvic tilt. I talked about this a little bit at the live stream the other day, but I really want you to be focusing on that. So no matter where you are or what you are doing, what you're going to do, we're fixing an anterior pelvic tilt. So a lot of people are like this. What we want to do is be able to correct that. So even though most people, you see these pictures and everything, everybody's all like, ah, and that's what's kind of popular, it doesn't serve your lower back or your core to be pushing out all the time and adding this extra pressure onto your low back, okay? Additionally, your pelvic floor likely isn't working properly, so you'll experience things like incontinence or I don't know, like if you go to run or move or do stuff, you might have a little bit of drips every now and again because of this issue. So even while you're just standing there, we're certainly going to breathe. And on your exhale, we're going to start to correct that pelvic tilt. So all it is tucking your tailbone under and coming up. And that's on a breath. So in and out, correct. Okay, the second thing, so while you're just standing there, just slightly move one leg. So we want to stretch this hip out, but we want to do it not by, forcing that hip to stretch out, but alternatively, we want to do it by creating that pelvic tilt again. So we are keeping the core activated through our breath. We're then going to start to notice whether our glutes are activating properly, and we're correcting the pelvic tilt all at the same time. And you can just be standing there. Nobody has to know that you're actually doing this, or you can be cooking, you can be doing anything over the summertime. And you're literally toning, correcting, improving the performance of your pelvic floor and adjusting that pelvic tilt, right? So then we come to the other side and same thing. All we're doing is a pelvic tilt and I'm getting a huge stretch through here. So I don't need to force it and maybe cause some other issues like a splitting of your pubic bone or something depending on how soon you had your baby. All we're doing is a gentle pelvic tilt and that is enough to stretch out both the hip and begin to correct the rest of the area there, okay? So you can be doing that at any moment, standing, watching kids, doing your laundry at any point. And you want to start to think about if you're really out of alignment and you really have an anterior pelvic tilt, you want to be using this tuck throughout everything. If you're doing a side plank, you're tucking. If you're doing a squat, right, you tuck first and come down into that squat. Really begin to use that tuck through all of your movements so that you're always in alignment and you're not putting any extra pressure on here and you're giving yourself the ability to activate your core properly, right? It's very hard, even if you're breathing, if you have a crazy pelvic tilt like this, to even get that air in there properly and be able to use the transverse abdominis. So when you exhale, those muscles that come in as a corset kind of, to get them to activate properly. If your tilt is way too obvious, I guess is a really great word, okay? So start to take some notice of what's really happening in your body, right? You don't want to be doing your exercises if different parts of your body are out of balance or if you have this crazy pelvic tilt, because you're just going to be putting added pressure on here. Okay, so certainly anybody who's starting to move through postpartum and go further into some recovery programs and stuff, start to be aware, become really aware of what's out of balance within your body so that you can correct it before moving on. I.e., you might feel like you've got really great breathing going on and you're ready to do some overhead stuff, but if your pelvic tilt is like this, it doesn't really matter because it's going to just be way too much for your brain to think about to be able to hold on to your stability here while you're lifting weight up over your head. Okay, so a few things that you can practice no matter where you are this summer to make sure that your body is getting stronger, is becoming more correct, healing, recovering properly, toning all the time, okay? This is what we mean by when you talk about training right from the start. So go ahead and try that today, post some comments, let me know how your exercising without exercising is working out for you today. Remember that you got this.